This LOS is compare types of trade and capital restrictions and their economic implications. This slide is just reviewing some trade restrictions and some of the impacts, okay? And this is really a review of what we've seen in the previous LOS. So again, some trade restrictions in terms of a tariff, import quota, export subsidy, or voluntary export restraint. And we're looking at the impact on the importing country, the exporting country with regards to an export subsidy, or the importing country with regards to voluntary export restraint. So you can see in all cases it's positive for the producer surplus. These trade restrictions are meant to help the producers. With regards to the consumer surplus, it's negative in all cases. The government revenue is different. We can see with a tariff that's positive. We had a practice question on that before. With a government revenue with regards to an import quota, that could be mixed, okay? But definitely with an export subsidy, that's negative because they're spending money to help stimulate their production and their exporters. And for voluntary export restraint, you can see here it's 0. So I could make a nice little practice question based on that. And then we had in terms of the national welfare, we looked at the differences between a small country and a large country. And you can see here in all cases, the national welfare is negative, except for a large country with regards to a tariff or an import quota. So again, we saw multiple choice question based on that. In all cases, when you have a trade restriction, you're going to increase the price. That's easy to understand. And in all cases, when you increase the price, you're going to decrease the quantity demanded or the domestic consumption. And in all cases, you're doing these trade restrictions in order to increase domestic production, okay? And so then finally here we can see the impact on imports, negative for a tariff, negative for an import quota. Nothing here because we're talking about export subsidy, negative for a voluntary export restraint. Then of course an export subsidy is going to be positive on exports. So again, a nice little graphic or a table just to help you review the impact with regards to different types of trade restrictions. Now we're going to look at some capital restrictions, just 2 slides on that to finish this LOS. So with regards to capital restrictions, there are many reasons for governments to restrict inward and outward flow of capital. For example, the government may want to meet some objective regarding employment or regional development, or it may have a strategic or defense-related objective. Many countries require approval for foreigners to invest in their country and for citizens to invest abroad. Control over inward investment by foreigners results in restrictions on how much can be invested and on the types of industries in which capital can be invested. For example, such strategic industries as defense and telecommunications are often subject to ownership restrictions. Outflow restrictions can include restrictions on repatriation of capital, interest, profits, royalty payments, and license fees. Citizens are often limited in their ability to invest abroad, especially in foreign exchange, scarce economies. And there can be deadlines for repatriation of income earned from any investments abroad. Economists consider free movement of financial capital to be beneficial because it allows capital to be invested where it will earn the highest return. Inflows of capital also allow countries to invest in productive capacity at a rate that is higher than can be achieved with domestic savings alone, and it can enable countries to achieve a higher rate of growth. Longer-term investments by foreign firms that establish a presence in the local economy can bring in not only much-needed capital, but also new technology, skills, and advanced production and management practices, as well as create spillover benefits for local firms. Investment by foreign firms can also create a network of local suppliers if they source some of their components locally. Such suppliers may receive advanced training and spillover benefits from a close working relationship with the foreign firms. On the one hand, increased competition from foreign firms in the market may force domestic firms to become more efficient. On the other hand, it is possible that the domestic industry may be hurt because domestic firms that are unable to compete are forced to exit the market. And that's the last slide for this LOS. Thank you.